Hi there, nice to meet you. My name is Dipesh Kaluda, and today we are going to discuss about how your VPS is stealing your CPU cycle and how to measure it and how did I was able to find in what was the bottleneck around this scenario, right? So let's directly jump into it, what I was doing and yeah. So this is a server which is running on Hostinger, and here there is my project was for one client was that it was a scraping project. So there is a website of Kerala. We have lot of land records there, right? We have to extract those resources and store it in a Postgres database. So we were doing this, and so basically what I observed there that that give me a second. Let me just configure one thing. Yeah, it's all good now. So basically what I observed at that point was like there is a speed of it. So what I was measuring, so I was measuring in a tool called anti-f1. It's a basically give a notification, and I was measuring how many requests I am sending to the server, like I am getting it back, and that's what I'm calling jobs, right? So jobs per minute was my metrics which I'm measuring it. So like I was doing suddenly I observed that my starting when I start for it and for 14-15 days when it was constantly working, my jobs per minute was 1000 jobs per minute. So basically you can think it like I am sending 1000 requests to this server and I am getting those response back. It can be response of an error and as well correct response, doesn't matter, just responses are getting back. So 500 error is a response back as well, okay? And suddenly it brought them down to 390, 366. I was like, why this is happening, right? And then I understand like I didn't change anything, and even what like which I am understanding, which is the code I written, it should be 3000 jobs per minute because I created in this way that it should be like this, but I am getting 1000, and that is the issue. Like I don't know why it was not working. So but this was sustainable for a very long time, and suddenly it reached to 3300, and then our suspicions like begin, like why this is happening. And this is all the stuff which I'm going to discuss. So when we use VPS, if you do not know about it, let me give a short summary. So you have some hardware, right? In this hardware there will be a virtualization layer, okay? Like I use QEMU for it. It's a virtualization layer. You can build something like Hostinger if you have a good hardware with the help of QEMU, no issue. Or you can buy some service of I don't know, I forget the name, but the workstation, something like this is the company name. They provide a service to them and you can pay it if you have hardware. So like we know that this is going to be happen. So this is what was the issue with us, like okay, so I know when we are using VPS, that means we are sharing the resources, the hardware, to another person as well. Okay, that's not an issue. But if we are constantly getting lot more, like constantly getting shared hardware and shared instance, and our service was not working, so that's an issue. And Hostinger, I found it quite frequent. According to me, Hostinger is not the cheapest option out there, but they are overselling their hardware. I can assure you this much, okay? So for today, this was observed around 3-4 days back, but today I am getting a job request of 845, okay? So it means there is less neighbor traffic. So today, right now, I have the application I told you. I was starting to think we can go with Grafana, but then I say NTFY notification. I use simple just to get notified in my application. And I am getting, my rates are right now is 845.0 jobs per minute. So yeah. Now, like today our rates are decent. It is little less, so it means the steel CPU cycle will be there, not as hardcore like when I observed for 3-4 days back, for constantly for 1 or 2 days. So 3 days earlier, maybe 4 days earlier, I observed for 1 or 2 days, and it constantly in 300. I didn't do any changes, but nowadays it's to 400, 480, and my normal was 1200 when I started, and even that is, I feel like it's low. My goal was 3000, but I was assuming maybe it's a issue with the Python that he cannot do multi-core. We have 2 cores. So that was, I was thinking I can look into more detail about this thing. But right now here we are. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I have made an article for you. Let's see how that goes. Right. Okay, so you can see about this thing, and I think that's a critical select. Like for me, it's a critical point, right? Because if your 60% resources you cannot use CPU cycle, let's laugh. It means basically your half of the resources is somewhere else, so going somewhere else, right? The easiest one to start with, if you want to ask me, is like the top. You can, okay, you can just use top. Okay, in top, if you come here, if you see here, this is called steel type, and you can see it changes and it will reflect to you. So you can see it start with 0, then it changes to 28, then it changed to like 28% utilization is going somewhere else, then 15, then 12, something like this. Okay, it happened to all the cloud provider, but again, if you have a more hardware and you are not committing too much, then going 60% is absurd. I don't think so today we are going to observe 60%, but yeah. So this is the first way to look into it. You can look into it many different ways. I put it here. Let me show you more different ways, right? So this one, vmstat. Okay, so it will show us what are the stats for our VM, and it will going to do for 5 times. So it's a good one to see how long and how the timer look like for 5 times. It's a good request. So let's see. Okay, if we come here, let me erase for you. You can observe here. Okay, so the main thing is here steal time. The steal time here is today is like 6:0:13:13, and okay, so today you can see this only one time is a 13, so yeah, it's fine. If it goes one time, that's fine. If we go again, then I am thinking that today there is less traffic, so that's the second time we got this. So you can get the point. Like this is how you look into it. Okay, how much your CPU is steal by your VPS. There is more different ways as well. This is second way. You can look into one more command. Okay, this one, iostat, and this will give you exact number. So has like it was one of the easiest, right? You can see this is the steal, this is the steal, and only one time it is higher. So I think I hope it makes sense, right? So how steal works it, And so if this is the problem, so what problem does it cause? So if we do the calculation, like for me, for 2-3 days it was like 60% here, and I creating all the article on the future. So like when I observed this thing, I just didn't take any screenshot at the time, but I was like, oh, that's crazy, I will write the article on future. So right now I'm writing it. So how much impact I'm going to, if your hardware basically is not working for 60% down, then for me the calculation was 11 days. It will take 11 days more to gather same data, and that trade-off is like okay, that is a really big trade-off like which you have to do. So the first solution you can do it, if your application doesn't want this concern, you can use dedicated server. Second thing will be, if you yeah, you can also use your bare metal as well. Both will work fine, but dedicated server is much cheaper than bare metal, so you can use this one. Fine. Second will be change the infrastructure provider. So for me it's Hostinger, and this is the complaint I see happen to many users. It's just not me. There is many users who got same thing, right? So you can change to something else which work fine, which is maybe cheaper, maybe better. For me, it's not promotion. I use Contabo, and I never see Contabo has even this amount of this, right? If you want, I can show you. Let's go to my SSH and go to here. Okay, so if I follow the same command, let's say top, and if I see here, stale is 0, and generally whenever I observe it's 0. Okay, and if I come to here, let's see, vim virtual machine stat 1-5, then you can see here it steals never got high. So you can choose some other services like Contabo and maybe other who has good same, but remember, if you want, I think cloud provider doesn't show similar thing, right? I am sure about this thing, but I have to look into it again, how the cloud provider look like. We can use different cloud and see how their virtual machine, or if you're an AWS fan, you can say EC2 instance, how the steel work there, and how to measure this there, right? For any Ubuntu service, like this is Ubuntu, both one Ubuntu server I can directly see, but for different places I'm not sure about it. So that's why when I'm a big fan of I'm using Contabo from earlier, and I don't know why my client I suggest this one. My client was not able to configure it. God knows how he's not able to purchase it. I don't know why. Whatever the case is, he used Hostinger, and you can see it's reached 38% sometime, right? Today's traffic less, maybe tomorrow traffic get high, and they just give 50% resources. It's crazy. Number is crazy, right? So this was the rant for this. Use the infrastructure really well. The rule of thumb is, like right now, what I can do, I'm not going to change the thing and ask my client to purchase again and all this stuff, because it's for me right now, how many I have almost done 5 crore, or if you want it to be like 50 million requests, and there is 54 million requests which I have to do. So 94.2% I have completed. The data which I have scrapped is 3.6 million. Okay, so if even with this, if I go for this job rate, if just say, okay, there is 4 million requests left for me with the speed of 800. This much minutes it will going to take me. So divided by 60, let's say segment 6, then it's going to be 100, then 100 divided by 24, then say 4, 25, then say 8, so 8, 3. So approx 4 days you can say. It will going to take 4 days to complete it. And if the number is in 1000, so you can see, right? It will go and it increase my days to 4. If it's 1000, the days will be somewhat lower. Yeah. So yeah, this is a thing. If you use poor VPS, who overcome it generally, that can be an issue. Look into the stuff like clouds also. Cloud can also have this kind of issue, but generally cloud has loss of infra, so they can handle it easily. But it can happen. So I hope this article helped you to understand steam cycle, how much it's going to impact your days. So for when you can see if you have 1000, how much reduction it happened. Assume it is 20%. So basically 20% days time is directly going to impact. This is a very crude maths. We can go exact numbers because we have figures, but think of this 20% days increase. And I have done 50 million requests. 50 million requests right now. Think how much time the infra make my quest slow, how much days it increase mine, and I even don't realize it. So that's a really sad part, that's happened. But yeah, and maybe it can go much better if I use Contabo, and the price will be, so there is lot of factor, right, for the infra part. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. There is one more impact with the Python that which has happened with the Python, that Python cannot do more the codes. So threading is also not working fine. So this can be an issue, right? So that's all from my side. I hope this article helped you about to understand the infra part, stealing part, VPS really. Yeah, I didn't show you, but if you want, I can show you that how, I was saying, QEMU, etc. So in every system we have QEMU, and let's say man. So you can use like this. This is one of the virtualization tool, and if we can automate this virtualization tool with the help of APIs, then this hardware can be doing. So if I want a crude example here, then maybe I have something, yes, viewer, I guess. Say remote viewer. Yeah, trigger VNS viewer. Right, this is now. Let me go here. The virtual machine manager. So I have one machine here that is basically Windows 10, which is a Windows 11. So if I run this machine, okay, then I have configured some hardware like CPU. I configured 2 core of my CPU there, and if my main process is running, let us assume an ML model, and it's taking all the cores, this machine get impact, right? So that is basically what's happening to us as well. And what we want, that the person does not overcommit the user, because Hostinger is very much marketed oriented. They provide cheap, but not the cheapest, but cheap VPS, and do lots of marketing. So they have lots of clients as well. So that is the major issue here. I will recommend it to use better service than Hostinger next time, or no hate to them, but that's all my personal opinion is, right? That's all. Bye.